into a season that requires that, so that's the fun part, see what we can do with all these muscles that we have.
Are there any guys out there like Shaun Cody?
It's hard to find Shaun Cody, man.
Oh,
Really
better than Shaun Cody. I got watch the past me.
I wish there was more Shaun Codys out there. Yeah.
Coach, what's the big emphasis for your group going to fall camp?
We want to create the best depth that we can have. The emphasis is for all of them to have the opportunity to compete. And it's funny you asked that. We just talk about the guys getting into rhythm and getting into the flow. Coach Haas had a good presentation about that this morning. That's the emphasis, man. Get these guys get in the best rhythm and flow, and that requires their camaraderie to come together, their intelligence to know what they're doing, and then just the give a shit factor to go. Oh, sorry, excuse my language. Just to go out there and compete.
You have a lot of young guys in that position group.
Yeah.
What's the best way to create that mentality, get them ready, even though they,
Repetition. Yeah, that's why I love camp. Camp is, there's no game to prepare for. We can just grind it from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint. So it's good for us. The guys that were here in spring that were fresh, like Jade, and Lorenzo, and those guys that came in spring, they got a little bit taste of it, But we got a couple guys like Mana and Carlon Jones will come in. So that's the best way to throw them in the fire.
I wanted to ask about those early enrollees because as an early enrollee, you make a big jump from spring in that summer. What have you seen from those?
Well, they're through the basic stuff of being homesick, adjusted to a new area. That's what Mana and Carlon have to go through now. But those guys have been in spring, so that's the beauty of it. Come early, so now they're a little bit ahead. Yeah, and they're doing a good job.
How often do you have to remind the guys to increase their intensity? Or is that something that's happening now? You don't have to get
Man, probably the meeting before practice. Other than that, once you're out there, man, I might leave someone behind if they don't bring the intensity because we got to go. So they got to bring their mindset every day from individual drills to practice. So it's not often on the field.
Are you getting that identity that you're looking for?
Oh yeah, we got a hungry group. We got some grounds to cover, and we're excited for the opportunity that's presented this year.
When you see your first games up against LSU, is there a word you put up there on the whiteboard that you have everybody focus on?
My word is today. How can we win today? Just win today. What task we have today? We got to know when to wake up, when to dominate the task from meetings and walkthroughs, or even if it's their lift or the workout. We got to win today.
Are there any vocal leaders growing out of that group right now?
Some, but I like the way our group is. It's not a lot of vocal guys. They're more action. Yeah.
What's gonna get Cameron found on the field?
Just the intelligence part of the game. Make sure that he understands not just the playbook standpoint, but just how to do the techniques. That's for everybody, not just Cameron Fountain. Every freshman comes in, they gotta get adjusted to the new lingo, the new vocabulary, the terminology. But he's a physical specimen, so he's got that down. So just the techniques, and the terminology.
You famously said big people beat up little people.
Yeah,
describe
all the time.
football.
And throughout a 60-minute, throughout the whole game, Mass always wins at the end. Big people beat up little people.
How do you feel about your big people now that they put a lot of weight on since last year?
Love them. Yeah, we're about to put them to the test.
Coach Henderson was talking about the offensive linemen. One way to motivate the younger guys, throw them out on the scout team, let them get their butts kicked a little bit. When your guys see the offensive linemen on the scout team, do you give them a little bit extra motivation to how to go about things?
What do you mean?
Well, is it an easier victory, in those one-on-one reps, or do you tell them, hey, treat them like you're going up against them?
You don't want to play down to their standard or play high. You got to play to your level of your ability. Like, if I know a kid is best as an 8 and he's giving me a 6, that's not good. It has nothing to do with who he's going against. It's give me your best every single time. So, and if you're going against a scout team, your best should be dominating that scout team. So I'll give him more praises if he's whooping the number one's ass. Like the starting O-lines, but it's I don't care if he's whooping the scout team. I want to know if that was his best.
Coming into this camp, Coach, what would you say is the biggest thing over the course of spring ball to this point that you've been working on with your defensive linemen and the defense in general?
Just them coming together as a unit, understanding the importance of consistency, and no matter who we throw out there, it's like the standard is still high, and we're trying to aim for perfection. We're not going to be paralyzed by perfection, but that's the goal, is making sure that they're all on the same page. D-line is next to O-line. We gotta execute at a high level together as a group. So the emphasis of consistency and high execution, that's always going to be.
Is consistency a discipline thing? Is it a rep thing? What builds you better consistency?
It's a discipline thing. How well can you focus, play in and play out, and of you giving your best effort every single time within the scheme of things.
Do you feel like last season this squad, with the players that it had patches of greatness, but then just some lapses as well?
Yeah, inconsistency is a perfect way to put last year's group, but the focus is on this year and try to get to a consistent level of high execution, play in and play out.
Any thoughts you have on you guys moving to the big?
I'm excited. It's very exciting, but like I just told them, we got to focus on day one, and then the next day, like today. How can we dominate today?
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Shaun.
Big man.
How are you?
Go Dodgers.
Who's impressed you this offseason? Who's really attacked it and made some strides?
I will tell you this. I think the group, I can't give you a name, but I think I really, really love seeing what the D-line group has put together in offseason as a unit. You always want them to come together to, get that camaraderie going. And I thought every single one of them done a great job of doing their job, and not just from an academic standpoint, but for especially the weight room. You see from all the muscle masses that they've been gaining, and just from the intelligence part when we test them on the scheme and stuff. So they've done a great job of helping each other out.
She wants you.
I'm going to steal him.
Okay.